this thing. Hey, guess what? We're
It says
live.
we are live. We don't know what the hell we're
See, I did music. Or I did the people. It's your part
doing.
now.
It's my part. Hey, you're watching, listening, absorbing Geekvice once again. We're coming from you in dual locations, Kansas and Arizona. So it's a dry heat.
Yeah, welcome everybody to another episode of Geekvice, proving that any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. I'm going to apologize now for all the technical difficulties because our fearless producer is not in the Kansas City area. He is on location in Phoenix, Arizona, and I am sitting here trying to do all the producer things, like hitting the buttons and making the people clap for us, and I don't really know what I'm doing, so it ends up really kind of bad. So welcome everybody. And
Not as easy as you thought, is it?
no, it's not, and I want you to come back so you can do this and I don't have to. So how about that one? I'm Morph.
All
That
right.
guy's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
How are you doing in Phoenix, Arizona?
Oh, there's a 2 hour time difference since they don't do daylight savings. It's normally an hour, but right now it's 2 hour, and it's only 7 o'clock here.
Yeah,
But I'm on Kansas City time, so my body thinks it's 9 o'clock. So
you're ready
I'm
to go to
all
bed?
messed up. Yeah, I'm all messed up.
So
I'm messed up more than usual.
So that means you got to stay up even longer now so that you can get back on the right time, and then you get back here and you're going to be all kinds of messed up.
Well, I drank one of these, and so dinner was that gigantic soda and a box of milk duds.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, I left Kansas City. I ate breakfast at 7:30 Kansas City time,
Yeah.
and then I ate dinner. I didn't eat again until 4 o'clock here, so 6 o'clock Kansas City time. So I went almost 11 hours without eating or drinking anything.
You know, I think that's what they tell you not to do when you travel.
I know. I'm always doing things people tell me not to do. And so I went to Chick-fil-A and got a couple of chicken sandwiches because I am at the mercy of whatever I can see from my hotel room because I don't know where the hell I am.
Right.
And so I did that. Then I came back to my room, and it's like, man, I am still hungry. So I remember passing a Quick Trip, so I went back to the Quick Trip, bought the great big thing of soda. It's only a large. That's the funny part. It's only a large. And then I was standing there. They had milk duds on sale. So I bought one of those. I came back, and that's what I had for dinner. Why I watched the movie Evolution. You ever watch that movie?
Evolution, is that is that the one with David Duchovny?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen that one. Holy crap, I've seen a movie that you've seen.
I know, it's weird. I have to play the lottery.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's a weird movie. It's pretty funny though. It's got the guy who plays Clifford Franklin in The Replacements too. What's his name? Orlando Jones, I think.
Jones. Yep.
He's funny. I like him.
Yeah, he plays Harry Block, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching that. I couldn't think of anything else. Hey, your dog is having a good time.
Yeah. Really? While I'm on the show?
Dog wants to be a celebrity.
Yeah, something like that. So, hey, I don't know if you know about this, but we've got a big event on Saturday.
What?
Yeah! We're going to get together at Red Crow Brewery and celebrate International Tabletop Day. That's this Saturday. Can you believe it?
That sounds like the most perfect Saturday ever.
It is finally here, And we are so if you guys don't know how to get to Red Crow Brewery, it is on 169 Highway in Spring Hill, Kansas. Just go look up their website, and they will have directions on how to get there. Or you can go to our Facebook page and click on the event because it's got the address right there in the event.
Just
So,
head south. If you get to Oklahoma, you've gone too far.
yes, you could probably even go. I believe it's actually north of Hillsdale Lake. So if you hit Hillsdale Lake, you've gone too far.
I was
Quicker
amazed
than
that it's
Oklahoma.
I was actually amazed that it's further south than where you live.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a whole lot further south than me, but that's one of them. So I got that going for me.
Yeah, the Mason-Dixon line is about the only thing further south than you.
That and the Oklahoma fault line.
Yeah.
The but so we're gonna play some board games. We're gonna try to get started or have people start showing up. You guys are welcome to show up around 1 o'clock or so. The Red Crow Brewery opens at noon. We're gonna try to get out there when they open or a little bit after that to get set up. Kip over there is bringing a big tub of board games. I'm gonna have one of his board games and then a couple of my own. And even purchased a new board game today. Let's see if I can show this on the camera. NFL Rush Zone, the board game. So
Heck yeah.
get to play football while you are in a board game fashion. I thought that would be kind of cool. And believe it or not,
Nice.
this one was actually sold at Walmart. I want to say it was only like 15, 20 bucks. Nothing.
Nice.
But you, the back of the box says players split up into teams and a coin flip starts the game. The offense rolls the dice to keep the drive alive while the defense tries to force a turnover. Suit up as your favorite team and pass, kick, and score just like the pros. Call the right play and score the winning touchdown and keep track on the scorecard for bragging rights later. It includes all 32 teams. Now it is, I don't know if you've seen the cartoon or heard of the NFL Rush Zone thing. I think it's a cartoon, kids cartoon. So they have like caricatures of the mascots. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna guess that's kind of your token to tell you who you are, which team you are. But yeah, it's got. It says it's up ages 7+. Players 2 to 6, and game time is only 20-30 minutes. So I thought that'd be perfect. Get a couple games in, and we're gonna try to open this up here in the next couple days and try it out with me and the kids and see how that goes.
Nice. I look forward to hearing what you say
about
it. I have a kind of a football variant kind of game called Battle Ball.
Really?
I should bring that and see if you and your kids like that.
Yeah.
If you do, it's another game you could borrow if you like.
Sounds perfect. Well, and of course we'll have to. I want to mention some stuff that was shown up that I put up on our Facebook page today to celebrate International Tabletop Day. Amazon is running deals of the day on board games, and there was a bunch of deals today. One of them being Flapjacks and Sasquatches, and I was just looking to see where my box is, and I think it might be already in the. I think it might be in the bag of board games that I took over to somebody else's house because it's not sitting here at my desk like it normally is. So otherwise, I would show you. Here, look, Flapjacks and Sasquatches. So if you don't own that game, you should go to Amazon today or tomorrow or whenever you hear this. Go to Amazon, check the deals of the day. Just search for Flapjacks and Sasquatches or Prolific Games. And, really cool. I like it.
It's one of my favorites. We always have to bring that out on a game day, so of course I'll be bringing my copy on Saturday.
Yep, that will, and I'm gonna bring mine too. And that way, if we have too many people that want to play that we can't get them all into one deck, we can split up and have a couple of games.
Yeah, if you have an account on Board Game Geek,
Yeah.
you can put it. You can enter the games you own, and then you can enter anytime you've actually had a play, and it'll tell you how many times you've played that game. I have at least put in. I have played the game 61 times.
Holy cow! And that's just the
Yeah,
times that you remember to put that in.
yeah. So it's you could tell I may like this game. There's a chance.
Yeah. Well, and that's another one that's nice, easy. It's easy to learn, hard to master, and can be played really quickly. There's, next to no setup time on it, and you can knock games out quick, which is kind of fun when you get a group of people together. It's fun to play more than just one board game. So,
Absolutely, it's a good warm up.
yes, yes, it is. Something else that was put up on our Facebook page within the last few days is that uh, Tabletop, the Will Wheaton's Tabletop YouTube show, has announced their fourth season and the games that will be on there. I know John Harrison tried to get Flapjacks and Sasquatches on there. Unfortunately, he did not make the cut. So next year we'll just have to get a bunch of people to write in to tell them they need to try this game, or hell, just do it now. Everybody tweet at Will Wheaton and tell him he needs to try Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
Yeah, tell him he fucked up by not putting it on there.
You never know. They play sometimes they'll end up fitting in some other games, like something doesn't work right, or once they actually get into playing and recording it, that it doesn't either doesn't play the way they need it for the show, or it doesn't, something like that, or they end up with a game that's played way too quick and they need to combine it with something else. They've done that. They did that in season 3 quite a bit. So maybe we can convince them and get it in for this season. That would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, if you follow us on Facebook, you can see all this stuff. I'm trying to keep stuff flowing through the Facebook page as quick as not as quick as possible, but more frequently. So that is a good place to find out what we're looking at, what we're seeing in our internet queries. I also want to give a shout out to Eddie from the Doug and Eddie show, because we got a whole bunch of likes in the last couple weeks on our Facebook page, which is sent us over 100 likes on Facebook, which is awesome. And a lot of them, when I go and look and see who liked us, the connection is always Eddie. So thanks, Eddie, for mentioning our podcast so much and telling all your friends about it. So, and thanks to all those people who liked our Facebook page. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do.
I know I enjoyed it. It's nice. It opens up the stats for us, and I'm a stats whore, so it works out for me.
So, I talked about the board game, the new board game that I got. I hear you got a new board game too. Are you going to bring that one on Saturday?
Heck yeah. I've had my eye on this one for a while. I just, for some reason, hadn't pulled the trigger until recently, and it's called Black Fleet. And basically, it's a pickup and delivery game with pirates involved. And, a lot of the videos I watch on it compared it to Merchants and Marauders, which I also own. But it's lighter. Merchants and Marauders is one of those games that is very fiddly, and has a lot of, you get to port and you have to do this thing, this, and it's like a big long list of stuff. Black Fleet. I can't even talk. I'm tired. You pull into a port and you immediately unload your cargo and you get immediately paid for it. It's none of this you have to do 10 things in a row and stand on one foot and put one hand over your head kind of thing. It's pretty easy to understand. It plays pretty quick. It's a board that's easy to understand. It's has the different spaces. You draw a card for your movement, and it has the different ships that you can move and how far you can move them. Then it has a specific power underneath that tells you what you can do. The cool thing about the game is that it's got the little ship minis that are sweet. I'd show you, but I'm 1,000 miles away from my house. The coins that you get paid are actually like little metal coins. They're not cardboard. They're not paper money. They're actually coins, which is really cool. Yeah, and I haven't got a chance to play it yet, so I can't like give it a full review. All I can do is stammer about it because I'm pretty excited. But I will bring that on Saturday, and hopefully I can find 3 other people to unleash on that game.
Yeah,
that's all I got to play.
That game actually just came out fairly recently too, didn't it? Within the last couple of years, I guess. Let's see. It says 2014. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because I think I remember that being on like a list of top games coming out or something like that.
Yeah, I won some awards
when you and I were still working together. So
yeah, it got 7.2 out of 10 on Board Game Geek. It won the Golden Geek Best Board Game Artwork and Presentation. Oh, I guess it was a nominee. It didn't win it. And it was a nominee for Golden Geek Best Family Board Game. I don't think it won anything, but, it's an honor to be nominated. I'm sure that's what they'll tell you.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is it's an hour. It's a game that, 60 minutes, they say. So you figure probably 90 minutes the first time you play it.
Right.
It says 3 to 4 players. My gaming group usually is 3 to 4 players, so that works out perfectly. I'm just excited to finally get this thing played. I've at least taken the wrapper off of it and opened it up and looked at it, but I haven't unwrapped any of the cards or anything. So this thing it's pristine.
Pristine. Yeah,
so I haven't forward to playing it.
I haven't even got the plastic off of my new game yet, but I do at least have one thing in defense. It was just purchased today, and this is the first time I'm looking at it because I was at soccer practice with my oldest, and my wife picked it up at Walmart on the way home.
Nice.
So
what do you? I plan on bringing mostly short duration games, but I am going to bring Battlestar Galactica. So anybody who wants to play that game, if you're listening, I will be bringing that. So show up and we can play.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring this NFL Rush Zone, which is a 20-30 minute game. I'm gonna bring Legendary, which is depending on how the cards are all played, that game can run anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, probably 40 to 60 minutes. I'm gonna bring your Legends of Dritz game. Because Reese has demanded that I bring it, I will I'll probably throw in Tricked Out Hero in case anyone wants to play it, and then I'll probably I've got some other games that are a little simpler I'm gonna try to gear my selection towards kids. So I've got some, because we will definitely have some anywhere from the age of 4 to 12-year-olds that'll be there too. So I've got some of the games.
I know I have some games that are for kids, but some of them I've never played.
Right.
So
And
it'd be
that's,
nice if you bring out a game for a kid and you actually could teach them how to play instead of,
yeah,
here you go, figure it
yeah.
out. You're 7, you should be able to do it.
Well, and that's what a lot of the games that I've got in my, that we've accumulated over the last year or so, both of my kids know how to play, and most of the neighbor kids, which are the kids that are going to be there, know how to play. So um, that should work. We should, but I think I'm kind of torn. We'll be there for quite a while. So I mean, you could get some longer games in if you really wanted to, but the problem with that is it'll eat up a lot of your time, and you might not get to play. You might only get to play that one game. So um,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
always a downside.
Yeah, but I plan on just bringing a pretty wide selection and then let people pick while we're there. There is a possibility. I'm talking to Brad, our dungeon master for our current D&D campaign, and this Saturday is supposed to be our day to get together and play our next session of that game. So I'm talking to him about the possibility of him bringing his DM stuff and us running our session towards the back half of the event. So there might be a D&D game that people can watch us make fools of ourselves at.
Hey, why not?
So, hey, it's tabletop games, which includes RPGs. So,
Yeah. I'm also going to grab a few of my, I'll just call them retro games, stuff that from like the 80s.
yeah.
Things like Miami Vice. I'm bringing that. So if
Nice.
anybody wants to geek out in some old-fashioned rectangular box games, I've
Yeah.
got some of those. I'm bringing
Yeah.
Miami Vice. Here's one the kids might enjoy: Bermuda Triangle and Scotland Yard. I think those are the three
Okay.
I'm going to bring.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
I will make sure I bring Quirkle. I have Quirkle. That
Oh
one,
yeah.
I really like that game, and so I got to include that one in there because it's a game that's just really fun and quick and easy to play. Super simple to learn, but really really hard to be good at. So I like it. So we'll have all kinds of games. We're gonna have tons and tons of games there. I don't expect all of the games that I bring to be played, but I want to make sure that they're there so people have options to pick stuff. So
Heck yeah. And then hopefully some people will bring some cool ones that they own, and
yeah.
then I can try something new. I always like the only problem with trying stuff new is if I really like it, then I end up spending more money.
Yeah. Well, something else that I want to throw out there is, um, some of the people that are coming to Saturday and some of the people you run into, they've never played board games before. And so you need a game to kind of get them, I don't know, like you need a good game to teach a beginner. And, there's
You talking about
always
a
the
gateway
games.
game?
Yeah, kind of the gateway game, and some of the games that really fit into that are Ticket to Ride or Settlers of Catan or Carcassonne. You know those games kind of fit there, but there's some other ones here too. And Geek and Sundry put out a nice little article that kind of ran through. They called it 5 more great games for tabletop beginners. Um, the games, some of them I'd never heard of, like Cosmic Encounter, I've never heard of.
I've played it once, but it was while we were reading the rules at the same time, so I couldn't
mm,
tell you anything about the game.
yeah, that one, it's, that one seemed a little bit more, just reading the little bits on it, seemed a little bit more involved than what I would consider for a good beginner game. Because I think and my idea of a beginner game is something that is uh, that that can be taught quickly, that can be engaging enough that you to a beginner. And beginners, people who aren't used to playing board games, they don't want to sit a long time in between their turns. There needs to be a
Yeah.
constant flow. And that's actually that's one of the criteria in me picking out a game and wanting to play it over and over again. I don't, it really kind of hurts a board game if your turns take too long to get around to you. Sometimes that's just because of the sheer number of people. Sometimes it's just the turns take a long time to do. But one of the games they mentioned was Pandemic, which I actually think is a great idea. Because something else that I think helps with other people getting involved or new people getting into board games is not competing against them, but working together. So those cooperative games like Pandemic, I think, is a great idea.
I totally agree with that. That's one of the first. In fact, that may be the first co-op game I ever played, and it's so easy to teach, and it's one of those. The rules are simple, but the strategy and everything is where the game makes its hay, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Since it's easy to teach and it's more social, you actually have to talk amongst yourselves. I think that's why it's a good gateway game.
And that's where the cooperative games work really well in keeping new people engaged in the game, because you need to keep track. You don't need to keep track of what everyone's doing because you're trying to compete against them. You want to kind of see what they're doing so that they're still helping out with making the end, making it to the ending and winning in the game. Because if one of you loses, you all lose. So you all need to win and work together. So it kind of keeps you more involved. So even if you get, what can that have? I think that's up to 6 people, 2 to 6, or is it 2 to 4?
Let me see.
Don't you know off the top of your head? Come on, man. You're the board game expert.
Yeah, expert. 2 to 4.
2 to 4. So even if you have 4 people playing that game, by the time it gets, you're still engaged while those other 3 people are taking their turn. So it keeps people from pulling up their phone and looking at, getting distracted from the game.
I also have the first expansion to that, which is On the Brink, which adds another player, so you can play up to 5.
Okay, maybe
if you have the On the Brink. Yeah, so I can bring both of those.
On one of the others in this list, I think you said you own too, is Bang. What's that one about?
Yes. Bang is a card game that you have sheriff, his deputies, and outlaws. But the only person who it is the sheriff, because they got a little badge they have to wear. And you've got to kind of figure out by playing different cards who is who, and really the objective is if you're one of the bad guys is to kill all the good guys, and if you're the good guys is to kill all the bad guys with these cards. And strangely enough, the card that shoots people says Bang on it, so there you go. There's the title. And it's a fun game. It's one of those, like Flapjacks and Sasquatches, it's a mess with your neighbor kind of a game.
Oh,
it's
cool.
It's what I call a good party game. I actually can bring that as well if you want to try that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Well, and I think if I remember right, I want to say an episode of Geek Fecta with John and Bill, we talked about Westerns, and you missed out on that one. And I think this game was actually brought up as one of their favorite Western style board games.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the beauty of it is it's quick, 30 minutes probably, and you can play up to 8 players. Yeah. So that makes it nice. So if you have a rather large gathering, that's a good game to bring in.
Yeah,
and it's fun. You get to shoot people, and the funny thing about that game is, okay, here's how dumb I can be. So where I'm at a New Year's Eve party over Brad's house, and there's a bunch of us, and I've had a few whiskeys, and I'm trying to teach people how to play this game. And so the person sitting across from me was this woman named Pam. So since she was in my eye line, I said, okay, I'm going to use her as an example. And I said, so say you're banging Pam, and then it hit me what I actually said. So this is a game you have to watch how you phrase things when you're explaining the game, or just don't drink whiskey until after the game is explained.
I don't know why that wouldn't be nearly as much fun to wait and.
Well, it's one of those things. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I realized what I said, but it was too late. I couldn't bring it back.
It was already out there. Oh,
it was already out there. Yeah.
What other types of board games, or what other board games do you have that you think is a good fit for a beginner?
There is another co-op game called Forbidden Island.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
That's another one of those that's really easy to teach.
Yeah.
It's cooperative. It's a lot of fun. It's like Pandemic. You can set the difficulty. So you can set it to the easiest difficulty to teach everybody the game and things like that. It's a good one. Yeah, basically what you are is your treasure hunters on this island. Well, this island is sinking, and you've got to find the 4 treasures, get to the helipad, get the hell out of there before the island completely sinks. And so it can get a little tense, which is cool. But you work together. It's a lot of fun. You laugh quite a bit playing that game. Another one in the F family is Formula D.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a real simple one. It's, you're racing cars. You've got a map that's gridded out, so each, it's broken out into spaces that you can count. And then depending on what gear you're in is what dice you're using. Like if you're in first gear, you're using a 4-sided dice that only has 1 and 2s on it.
Yeah.
So you roll it. If you get 2, you move 2 spaces. And the next turn you can shift up to second gear. And it's 6-sided, but it only has 2 through 4, I think, spaces on it. And
yeah, I think you're right.
And all the way up to 6th gear, which is a 30-sided dice, which unfortunately you don't get to pull that one out very often. And usually when you do, it's a Hail Mary play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a Hail Mary at that point. But that game is a lot of fun. You can play it as real simple. Certain things happen. The car takes damage. If you run out of damage points, you've crashed and burned and you're out of the race. Or you can step it up to all these advanced rules where you actually have to keep track of the tires, your gearbox, all these things separately. People have created leagues out of that game once they get further into it and get more, experience playing the game. So it is truly a gateway game because you can start off playing as simple as possible, just get your feet wet, and then the next thing you know, you're in leagues and you're playing these advanced rules, and yeah, it goes nuts on you. And you're buying all the extra maps, and truly a gateway.
That one is free. Yeah, I really like that one. That one's a lot of fun. We played that one a lot over lunches.
Yes, it's Flapjacks and Sasquatches with 61 plays. My next highest one is Formula D at 19.
Yeah. Well, and we would be stupid to not mention Flapjacks and Sasquatches. We rave about that game enough. That is definitely, I consider that one a definite gateway game and get you going because it again is so simple to learn. We've talked about that one a lot on this podcast, and I'm sure one day Bill and John, when they become millionaires, they will have to share some of that wealth with us, with as much as we pimp their game. But it's a great one, and it's just to kind of prove the point of how good that game is as a gateway game. There was one evening over this last winter where we had our neighbors over from across the street, and we were just sitting in the kitchen, just bullshitting around, drinking some beers, sitting around the kitchen table. We're just sitting there talking, and my wife, of all people, says, "Hey, why don't we play that lumberjack game?" And I'm like, "Are you talking about flapjacks and Sasquatches?" She's like, "Yeah, go get that. We'll play it here." If my wife had at that point she had played it maybe twice with the kids, um, if it's a good enough game that she will mention to want to play it, then you know it's a gateway game because she's just not a big board game person. She's not a big game person in general. So that's just a perfect sign of how easy this game is and how it can definitely lead you into the world of board games.
Yeah,
So
that to me is the definition of a party game, and you have to play it amongst friends.
yeah,
Or people who are willing to have a good time and not take it seriously, because you can make it tough on people, and if they can't take a joke, they're gonna struggle. But because if you're stealing their axes or constantly breaking their axe, I could see people getting frustrated. But if it's a bunch of friends and you can mess with each other and not get emotional about it, it's a perfect
yeah,
game.
yeah. It's a lot of fun. Um, you know, the other problem or the other situation that people run into, difficulty people run into in playing board games is finding enough people to play them. How many games do you have where it's like the minimum players is 4 people, or requires 3 or more, and you're just like, there's only 2 of us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we ran into that problem a lot when you and I were looking for board games to play over lunch, and we're just like, oh well, we want to play that one, but it's for 3 or more. And there's only 2 of us, so we try to rope somebody else into playing just so we could try another game.
Or we bastardized the game to make it a 2-player, like Thunderstone.
Yeah, yeah, we did do that. Um, you know, Geek and Sundry, with them being kind of the focal point, or I guess the keystone to this International Tabletop Day. They put out an article on incredible 2-player board games, and I was flipping through here, and I haven't heard of any of these 2-player games they suggested.
Well, read them off to me. I can't see the list.
We've got Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn,
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah, I'd love to play that.
Yeah, I mean that one at least I've heard of, but more just because it's Star Wars and it sounds familiar.
Yeah, and it's one of those expensive games.
Yeah, the one of the other ones they mention is Lost Cities.
Yeah, I haven't played that one yet either. Eddie's
This
got that game.
does he? This one sounds
Yeah.
this one sounds cool, and I really kind of want to look for this one and try to play it. Um, their comparison to it is they call it a high stakes version of Uno without the friendship ending draw 4 card. So that right there makes me curious to see what's actually in this thing. But it's a quick game. They say it lasts only about 15 minutes, and it's easy. It's another one of those easy to learn with quick rounds, and a little bit more of approachable type game. So it looks kind of cool. The other ones they mentioned here is Patchwork, which I've never heard of. It's a game centered around quilting.
Yeah, it's pretty popular right now. I haven't played it, but it is pretty popular right now.
And then the other one is Innovation.
Yeah, another one I've heard of. I haven't had a chance to play.
Yeah. So there's a lot there, but the Lost Cities one looks cool to me. The other ones, I don't know. They don't strike me as maybe not my cup of tea, but you never know. Um, but some of
Well,
the
I would like.
ones, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, you and I played Mr. Jack quite a bit when
Yeah.
we worked together. That's a good two-player game. And we also played Twixt,
Yep.
which you continually kicked my butt playing that game.
And what was I think there was another one. Was it Hive?
Hive, yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, that one was a good two-player game that we played. But it to me it doesn't. You don't always have to have if you any game that says can be played with two people should be good for two people. You should be able to play it that way. My example of that is Legendary. That game I can see being a lot of fun if you've got four people playing, but it's also a lot of fun if there's just two of you playing too. So, like that game works there. Legends of Dritz says it's for what does it say? I'm trying to get the actual number right. It's sitting right down here. I think it's 2 to 6, and you can play it with two people, but that's a and it's okay. It plays fine with two people. I've played it with my oldest son, just the two of
I
us.
thought it had a solo variant to it.
It
Yeah,
does.
it's 1 to 5 players.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It has a solo part to it. If you're playing the campaign though, because it's kind of got a campaign like a D&D type campaign written into it, um, so you can play it single by yourself. But I see that game after playing it with two people, it, it'd be a lot more fun. That's a bad word. I think it would be more fun, maybe not a lot more fun, but it'd be more fun with multiple people. Kind of like you can play D&D with just two people. Technically, that can work, but it's more fun when you have more people involved, and that's kind of the
yeah.
same type of game. Um,
Well, like I said earlier, you and I took a game like Thunderstone, and we played it as a two-person game. But Thunderstone being a card game, the deck builder, it's kind of like when you do play with four people, it's like four people playing on their own anyway. So
yeah.
with two people, I thought it worked just fine.
Hmm.
We played another game. What was it? Oh, Ghost Stories.
Oh yeah. That one wasn't too bad,
Let's
other
see.
than the rules being really complicated. But
Yeah, the
um,
rule book is not good.
yeah, that was a fun
Yeah.
game that worked well with two people. Um,
Yeah, it says it's good for 1 to 4, but it has special rules like there's supposed to be four um, monks or
yeah,
whatever. So there's rules in there for the vacated monks to actually be still playing the game, that kind of thing in the rule book.
yeah.
But I highly recommend if you're going to play Ghost Stories, find a YouTube video on it because the rule book is terrible.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I could see this NFL Rush Zone game being really good for two people as well, because you could just have one person playing offense, one person playing defense, and you're just fine with that. Um, it says you can have up to 6 players, but I think even if you have 6 players, you're going to be playing 3-on-3. You're not really going to have a reason for each person to have a team. You're not going to have 6 teams playing in a game. So I
Yeah,
think this game will lend perfect for that 2-player type scenario as well.
nice. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's football, so
Yeah,
I'd expect it to be a two-player game.
exactly. 2 teams. So Yeah, I think that's about all we got, unless you've got anything else you want to throw out there.
No, I'm just excited for Saturday. It's going to be nice to get a bunch of people together, play some games, have a good time, introduce
Yeah.
some people to some gaming. Maybe we can make some converts.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be nice to kind of, we're going to be, um, we've got a lot of people coming from a lot of different areas, a lot of different connections. We've got some of your friends coming, some of my friends coming. I've not met some of your friends that are coming. You haven't met some of my friends that are coming. It's going to be like mixing two families. It's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah, it could turn into a Jets versus Sharks thing, or it'll just be kumbaya for everyone. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and of course, board games are what's bringing everybody together, and that I think is awesome. That was kind of, I would think that was with the way Will Wheaton talks about this day and the way he does, when he does interviews on why he started his tabletop show. Um, this is what he was hoping for, bringing people together to play board games and making board games relevant again, showing people that there's a lot of fun in these. You can do a lot of different things. There's a lot of different, if you like a certain type of game, there's probably a board game out there that fits that type. It's just a matter of knowing about it and going and finding it. So I hope everybody comes and join us. Again, it's at Red Crow Brewery this Saturday, April 30th. Starts at 1 o'clock. On the Facebook thing, I put 1 to 5, but of course, you're welcome to stay later. They're open later, so you can stay as late as you want.
Yeah, and they bring food trucks out on Saturday, so
Yep.
You'll be able to try different types of food. Of course, it's a brewery,
Yep.
so you can get yourself some beer.
They have beer, they have water, they've got I think they might have Powerade or Gatorade there as well. So if you don't like beer, they do have other drinks there, but they make and brew their own beer right there, and it's really good. So I recommend it. And they do have food trucks out there. They rotate them out. So their website, I believe, tells what their food truck is, but I haven't looked to see what's supposed to be there this weekend. So, but yeah, come out 1 to 5. Come join us, Red Crow Brewery, Spring Hill, Kansas. If you need anything else, go check out our Facebook page. It's at facebook.com/geekvice. You can also follow us on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Geekvice. You can follow that guy on Twitter at Kip Killigan. And
whoever that guy is.
Yeah, you can also email us at geekvice@gmail.com. Let us know what your favorite two-player board games are, or the board game that got you into playing board games. What beginner board game did you get addicted to? And if you have any questions about the event, email us at geekvice@gmail.com. I will get back to you. Either myself or Kip will get back to you and let you know answer your questions as needed. So
Absolutely.
You got anything else you want to throw out there?
Nope. I think we have done it.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week.
Later.